I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando, and welcome to Tech News This Week. It's our podcast that gives you the top stories, the scams, the security alerts, and the crazy happenings in the tech world. We'll get started in just a moment, but first, we'd like to thank our partners who help make these podcasts possible. Coming up in Tech News This Week, we're going to tell you about a brand new feature that's coming to Netflix. Okay, and here's the crazy part about this new feature. It's not even out yet, and people are already complaining about it.
I'm Mike James. Also in a couple of minutes, there's a new frontrunner and the most streamed song of all time.
Plus, we have some great news for all you last-minute Christmas shoppers.
Would you pay for sending text messages? Well, it could happen. We start with a new feature coming to Netflix. It's been on DVRs for years. The good old rewind button is what I'm talking about. But this one will take you back to the beginning of a scene rather than just go back by the second. Netflix told the LA Times this week that it's working on an instant scene replay feature. If you're feeling a little bit left behind or left out while you're watching a show, you simply push this button and it goes back to the beginning of the scene so you can see what was left out. So you would just click on the remote or tap the screen and then you're taken back to the very beginning of the scene. This is funny. The feature isn't even out yet and some people are complaining about it. Some subscribers have been posting negative comments on social media saying that it's going to be disruptive and intrusive. Okay, so they're complaining because not all scenes in all shows will be set up with this scene replay button. Those that are set up with this button have a pop-up message that appears on your screen asking if you want to watch it again. Yeah, I guess that could be a little bit annoying.
Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Galileo, Galileo Figaro. Magnifico! I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves.
Okay, what's the greatest song of all time? That's a tough question to answer, and it actually could lead to a pretty heated debate. Now, the truth is, we never really will have a definitive answer. There's just too many songs to choose from, and, well, everybody's got a different opinion. So the better question is, what's the most listened to song of all time? Okay, now you're onto something. That answer can be backed up with real data. Now, as you know, the way many of us listen to music these days is through streaming, and one tune has just taken over the crown of the most streamed song from the 20th century. Are you ready for it? Yes. Once you hear the song, you can never get it out of your head. It's Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. That's right, which makes sense after having a movie the same name released just last month, detailing the band's epic journey. Now, according to Universal Music Group, the song just surpassed, are you ready? 1.6 billion streams globally. That's across all major streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify and, of course, YouTube. Bohemian Rhapsody beat out Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit to the top list. The grunge classic is now in second place with over 1.5 billion streams. All right, that's not too shabby.
Can you imagine having to pay to send a text message? Well, if you're in California, that could become a reality. The state's Public Utilities Commission is working on a plan that would make people pay a monthly fee for any text messages that they use. Residents of California already pay a tax on phone calls. So years ago, the federal and state governments started the Public Purpose Program. People pay a surcharge on their phone bill and other utilities like electricity, but information services like email and web browsing were exempt. Well, they were. This began back in the 90s when everyone had a landline, and that's the problem since most everyone has a mobile phone now. Landlines are becoming a thing of the past, and the number of phone calls are way down on landlines. People would rather text back and forth than actually talk to each other. That's caused a huge drop in the tax revenue for the state. Nobody has landlines anymore, so officials are looking for a way to bring in more tax revenue. State officials believe adding a tax fee would raise over $40 million per year. Opponents of the tax say it would be bad news for cellular service companies because people would just use messaging apps that don't use cell service data, like iMessage or Facebook Messenger and many others. This fee hasn't been approved yet by the legislature, but if it does pass, it's only a matter of time before it starts going to other states and nationwide.
Just ahead, Apple plans to create tons of new jobs all across the United States. We're going to get to all that, but first, a quick mention and a quick thank you, because I've got to tell you about my toothbrush from Quip. All right, I know you've had parents and teachers and dentists telling you how to brush your teeth your whole life, and it seems like everybody has a different technique. One thing that they all can agree on is that you have to brush your teeth for a full 2 minutes. I've been telling my son Ian that for years. But not anymore. I have a Quip, and so does Ian. Quip is electric. It's small, it's light, it's sleek. There's a built-in 2-minute timer that pulses every 30 seconds to remind you, are you ready for it? Yes, switch sides. You don't have to guess anymore. With Quip, new brush heads are automatically delivered. Just like the dentists recommend, every 3 months for just $5, so you can just forget about it. Try Quip and see why it's backed by more than 20,000 dental professionals. And me, and my son Ian. We both love our Quip. Quip starts at just $25. That's it. Visit getquip.com/tech right now, and you're going to get a deal. You get your first refill pack for free with any Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free. Yes, absolutely free. Head over to getquip.com/tech. That's getquip.com/tech.
Yeah, big news this week for Apple. They have plans for an expansion, and they're building a new campus in Austin, Texas. They're also going to add other facilities in Seattle, San Diego, and Culver City, California. In Austin, though, that's the big one. That's the big news. Apple is making a $1 billion investment to build a campus there. Jobs created will include engineering, research and development, customer support, and more. The company already employs 90,000 people in all 50 states, but plans on creating another 20,000 by 2023. It also announced plans to invest $10 billion in U.S. data centers over the next 5 years, including $4.5 billion over the next 2 years. So big expansion for Apple.
Cyber criminals and scammers have changed strategies in a big way. Now, they're targeting users of one particular operating system more than any other, including Windows. Malware used to be distributed primarily on Windows computers and would steal your password, spread ransomware, and spam you with ads or worse. Not anymore. Today, the most likely targets are Android devices over any other operating system. That's according to Nokia's Threat Intelligence Report. Some 47% of infections are on devices running the Android operating system, as compared to Windows at 36%. And yes, Apple's smug. iOS devices account for less than 1% of infections. Cyber criminals, they don't care what device you use. They just want your money.
Hey, have you finished your Christmas shopping yet? If not, well, you'll recall that Amazon back in November started offering free shipping with no minimum purchase to everyone for the holiday season. Deal was set to expire on Friday, December 14th, but Amazon is giving you a little bit more time on that deal. Now, the free shipping deal won't expire until Tuesday, December 18th, and that's the last day orders can be placed with guaranteed delivery by Christmas. That's not all. For everyone living in a city that has Prime Now, you can place an order as late as 9:15 p.m. local time on Christmas Eve, and you'll get it that night just in time for Santa's arrival.
More tech news from Komando.com is coming up in a moment. And did you know that companies are watching your every single move, even when you're not online? We'll tell you how they're doing it and what you can do about it. And right now, a quick thank you to our amazing partners who help make this Tech News This Week podcast possible.
I'm sure you're aware by now the fact that every move you make online is being tracked. With all the sensors planted in major cities across the United States and most of us constantly carrying a smartphone, it was inevitable. Sending texts, making calls, passing through subway turnstiles, and just having a smartphone in your pocket generates tons of location-specific data. The data is important to people like city planners who want to understand where the population may migrate to, but it's, of course, not just used for urban development. Tech companies and advertisers also want the inside scoop on who's spending time in specific locations. Most people aren't worried about being tracked like this because it's supposed to be anonymized, meaning any features that could help identify you are scrubbed from the data. At least that's what we've been told. But that might not actually be the case. A group of MIT scientists and urban developers recently conducted a study and showed that it's fairly easy to figure out who is who. So no, your anonymous data is not so anonymous after all. The MIT group combined a couple anonymized sets of data from people for the study. They were able to uncover identities just by looking at anonymized phone and transit records. They both had data points detailing time and location. A simple algorithm was able to match data that overlapped and uncovered identities. It took a while, but after 11 weeks, they were able to positively identify people with about a 95% accuracy rate. Researchers said they just wanted to make people aware of potential risks that come with sharing mobile data, and that citizens should demand that this information is never used to identify people. Thumbs up to MIT, high five, and thanks for putting it out there for people that don't know.
You know your phone tracks your location, but I bet you don't realize how precise it is. The New York Times researched how apps track our location using the phone's GPS, Wi-Fi, and cell tower triangulation. The shocking report reveals not only when you went to work and headed home, but also everywhere you stopped, how long you were there, in some instances, down to the room you visit within a building. Apps always make you agree to terms when you install them. Most free apps say they need your location. The truth is, these apps sell your data to advertising and location companies. Take a look at your phone's location services, and you'll be shocked at the level of detail. At Komando.com, I'll tell you how to look and how to turn it off. Remember, when the product is free, you are the product.
Well, don't look now, but crooks are at it again, and this time they're going after your grandparents' money. And here's how it works. They call an elderly person, typically over 70 years old, pretending to be their grandchild, and they claim to be in a serious mess, either in jail or some kind of legal trouble. They say the only way out is for the senior to send them money. In the past, these criminals would ask for wire payments, gift cards, or prepaid credit cards. But here's a new twist. The crooks are now asking them to send cash through mail, and it's an unbelievably successful hoax. The FTC said that over the last year, a quarter of all seniors who reported losing money through a grandparent scam ended up sending cash. Losses during that time? Oh boy, $41 million. It's a huge increase compared to the previous year, which had reported losses of about $26 million. Now, one reason these scams are more successful than ever is because of social media. Crooks are able to find out personal details of both seniors and their grandkids through sites like Facebook, and then they have a few personal details added to their story and makes the caller seem more legitimate. That's why it's not a great idea to share too much personal information on social media. If your details are public, someone can use them to defraud you. Also, the FTC said if you receive a call like this, take your time, don't act right away, call your family member back on a phone number that you know is theirs, and of course you want to share these kinds of scams with the older folks in your family so they don't get taken advantage of.
Ever lose your iPhone? Well, if you're in a dark room, just say, "Hey Siri, turn on the flashlight," and then follow the light. That's just one simple iPhone trick you're about to learn that you'll wish you knew sooner. Now, how about knowing who's calling without even looking at your phone? It's really simple to do. Just give your most important contacts a unique ringtone or vibration. Select your contact and start at the edit menu. I have the exact steps in my column. All right, next up, if you want to scan a document, use the iPhone's Notes app. There's a plus sign at the bottom of the Notes app screen. Tap that and choose Scan Documents. You can use the iPhone's camera to take a photo of your document, and there are all kinds of settings to make that document look terrific. Okay, if you have pictures in your Photos app that you'd like to conceal from, say, prying eyes, you can hide them from view. Choose the photos you don't want to let others see and tap the share icon and then hide. I'll tell you how you can see them again in my column. I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Komando, and now you're up to date. And I'm sure you want to learn more. So listen to my other podcasts or let them come to you in the free Komando.com app, which you can get at iTunes and Google Play. Just search for Komando on your favorite podcast player. And join me this weekend for my national radio show. I answer your questions about everything digital, and I'm sure you have at least a few. For the station nearest you, head over to komando.com/radio. That's KOMANDO.com/radio.